people who are actually predators, people who actually should be in therapy are not the ones who actually receive therapy. It is usually people who have suffered at the hands of other human beings.
Let's talk a little about people who are dealing with depression.
Depression usually is because of worthlessness, helplessness, and something called as thinking that this is never going to end.
So the research says women are nearly twice as likely as men to seek mental health support and therapy. 65% of women are open for therapy, and just 30% of men in today's times are open for therapy.
I am going to give you very different perspectives on things, okay?
Namaste guys, I hope you all are doing well. On today's show, we have Aanya, Jash. Today's podcast, we've covered types of mental health issues people are dealing with. We've talked about anxiety. We've talked about depression. We've talked about people who face panic attacks. We've talked about childhood traumas. We've talked about grieving and a lot of other things. I hope you guys find this podcast from one of the most valuable podcasts that me and my team have ever worked on. Aanya ma'am has written this phenomenal book called Noumenon. And she's talked about mental health issues in a very poetic and a very narrative way. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy experiencing her writings. This book is available on Amazon. So please do go check it out. But for now, I would let you all slip into this beautiful episode featuring Aanya ma'am on Escape the Mold with Jash. Thank you very much. How are you, ma'am?
All good, Jash. Good to be here.
How was your day?
Day was hectic. Day was preparing for tomorrow's Rakhi, so preparing for that. And really nice to be back home in Pune. So, yes, it's good.
I wanted you to know that you are our first lady guest.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't know this. You didn't tell me this before.
Yeah, I actually wanted to keep it a surprise for you
All
that,
right.
once we start rolling the cameras, I'll just put it out.
I'm so touched. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm glad about one thing, that for to have such a good feminine energy on your show, it's because of the work that you're doing. You're helping people, for to be the better version of themselves.
Yes.
So thank you very much for to
thank
be
you
on
for
our show.
having me here. Thank you so much for having me here.
I
Yes.
want to cut straight to the topic.
Yes, let's start.
Can you please define what therapy is?
Therapy comes from the word, if you basically bring it down, it is healing, basically. And there are many different types of therapies, okay? Many people think that therapy ek hi cheez hoti hai, it's just one thing. But actually it's not, There are so many types of therapies, and there's art therapy, there is, CBT, there is psychoanalysis. Basically, therapy is something that someone has studied human behavior. They've studied the mind. They've studied and practiced, not just theoretically, but even through experience. And something that, imagine that there is a maze, all right? Bhul bhulaiya jaise bolte hain. And usually when we are in crisis or challenge, we are facing a particular challenge, we're in the middle of that maze. And we don't know. What we see is just that wall ahead, You're walking here, you can't find a way, again you hit a block. You go the other way, again you hit a block. So what do you do in this case? Now the people who are your family members, who are your friends, are in that maze itself, okay? So you can ask them, like if you meet them across the maze, you'll ask them, kaise hai? So through their experience, they'll say, idhar se jaoge to ye block hai. As a therapist who is a third person who studied human behavior, my job, at least this is my definition of therapy. Every therapist will have their own definition as to what therapy would mean. And for me, it is to change the perspective, give you a POV, a point of view, where you can levitate yourself from the maze and get an overall view ki dekho ye aise hai. I cannot tell you यही path choose करनी है, वही path choose करनी है. It is up to you. But for me, it is just to lift you up enough for you to see this is what is happening in your life. This is where each one is. And now, do you have the resilience and cultivate that resilience to find your way out to your goal? And there are multiple mazes. So this is one maze. Maybe this is your family maze. There'll be a work maze. There are different things. So in therapy, that is what we do. Giving, that's what I have found meaning in. Giving a perspective to the client where they can find the resilience and believe in themselves that, okay, this is, and understand what it is. And for me, therapy also involves a lot of psych education. So psychological concepts, like which we studied during college times and, in our studies and experiences to share, like, terminologies, vocabularies. Many a times जब हम बात करने लगते हैं, तो many times people think that ये तो मुझे पता ही था. I already knew this. But you didn't know the word, what it was called. You had the experience of it. And when you are able to attach, like, there are topics like limerence, trauma bonds, breadcrumbing. Abhi to now new Gen X mein, in terms of relationships, it's different. So sometimes even I have to Google, like, what is this? I'm also constantly updating myself. So therapy is also psych education, understanding about human behavior relevant to your context. You don't have to have your degree in it and learn about it. But, developing some kind of a understanding of the mind relevant to you enough. And my endeavor is, I hope it is taught in schools. I hope it is taught in different, make a everyday life skill. Like how we know basics of geography, history. I hope human behavior, we know the basics of human behavior as well. So that's my endeavor. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful.
The
reason why I asked this question to you,
Yes.
ma'am, like what's therapy? What's the definition of therapy? It's because I've heard a lot of different narrations about therapy. Few say कि पागल लोग therapy लेते हैं. ठीक है. Few say people who are mentally weak, they go and seek therapy. Few say that a person who seems that he or she is lost and who is stuck, they seek therapy.
Yes.
I have two questions for you.
Okay.
Firstly, how can a person normalize the fact that, okay, I can go and see a therapist. I can go and see a therapist.
Okay.
And my second question would be, you just mentioned that there are types of therapy.
Yes.
So how many types of therapy do we have, and what kind of therapy is mostly used in India?
All right. The first, I would like to check the myth that, ऐसे ही लोग जाते. What I see therapy is people who are actually predators, people who actually should be in therapy are not the ones who actually receive therapy. It is usually people who have suffered at the hands of other human beings, and I call them predatory behaviors, are the ones who actually come for therapy. So in some ways, whenever society gossips about certain things, it's not always wrong, but they have made it into a very minuscule context. ऐसे नहीं है. You wouldn't call broken, so everyone is broken. You see, there are circumstances. Life is built in such a way that all human beings get broken multiple times in their lives. So those who say मैं तो कभी ये नहीं है have not developed that kind of self-awareness. With respect to पागल है. पागल is what? Behavior which is expected to be normal behavior. People touch the feet of pedophiles. That is considered normal because they are your elders. So what are you normalizing? So that, and then pagal is someone who is questioning back, or maybe it could be the black sheep also. So I feel that is, so these are all just quotes of this is how it is and thing and stuff like that. And normalizing it, simple, yeah. सर्दी खांसी हो गई आपको, देख लीजिए जितना आपको घर के whatever you can do it with respect to home treatments. You will have ginger, you will have honey, you will do gargling for a cold, but then fever starts to develop. Okay, ठीक है, पट्टी लगाओगे. It stays for a day. What if it's staying for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days? Then you will have to go to a doctor, right? Yeah. So that is what is. So when you feel that the circumstances, the challenges that you're facing, you're not able to understand and you want to really learn about yourself, about situations, about other human beings, you go to a therapist. And it is upon you when you do feel the need to do it. And it's not something regular. It is. Many therapists do say that you do it more consistently. constantly. It's like, having your multivitamins. You need to have it every day. Something called as mental hygiene that we speak of.
Okay.
How are you going to keep it clean? How are you going to keep your mind with healthy thoughts? Negative thoughts are also functional. It is very important also for you to, if there is a pan on the gas, you touch it, it's really hot. And you realize that is not good for you because you got burnt. It is a good memory, negative memory to have, because when you touch it, you are going to get burned. So negative emotions are also very important to understand that. So therapy is so it's still coming up, and my thing is, try it first, then you will understand what it is. And many a times people don't even, or they try it once and they're like, this is not. That is where we come, and that's why I want to talk about, and you've got an amazing topic out, that the types of therapy. Coming to that, just the way agar migraine hai, if you have a headache, you're not going to go to an ENT specialist, you're not going to go to a gynecologist, you're not going to go to a orthopedic. You will need to go to a doctor where they specialize in migraines, if it is, neurological disorders or something like that way, or with respect to, even if it's Ayurvedic or homeopathic. In India, thankfully, is a land where we have multiple healing modalities. And in short, if I tell you, there was something called as the first wave, second wave, and third wave therapies. Okay, first wave. So psychology as a subject is a very young subject. It's hardly been 50, 60 years around.
In India?
No, everywhere throughout the
Okay.
world. As a subject, psychology, the birth of psychology, it came from the philosophy. If you see Western psychology as a subject, the human mind has existed since humans, and consciousness has existed, but the study of psychology came during the world wars. So what basically happened was, they needed people to recruit, and soldiers had to be recruited. And on what basis would they be recruited? Then is where the assessment started to come in as well, that these are the qualities we need in soldiers and things like that. And that is why then the study of human behavior, and it started from many philosophical aspects, why mental health disorders were there in the beginning as well. But to understand the human mind better, first they were chained, a lot of electric shock therapy was there and things like that. But then the humanistic aspect, post the world wars, a more humane approach to human beings started to happen, to understand them. So those were called the first wave, to understand there are aspects of operant conditioning, there is aspects of that, okay, behavior is there. There is something that you want to learn about human behavior. Then come the second wave therapies. That is the most common one, and which is prevalent pretty even now throughout, not just in India, throughout the world. Most of the apps that you see with respect to mental health apps are based on CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy, which mention that your thoughts affect your feelings. Most of the time people are like, what I feel like, if someone has a breakup, they're like, mera dil aise hai, mera dimag aise bol raha hai, and my heart and mind are in conflict. So aise nahi hota hai. If you have a session, they say that you have to have an alignment. The reason why heart is in conflict is because your mind and your thoughts are not as per according to, how things, and if you change your thoughts, your feelings will change, and then so your behavior as well. So that is the crux of CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. That was the second way, that your feelings will affect your behavior ultimately, and how that is, and what can you do, what can you change, and things like that. Third wave is more like, because it's evolving, right? As a subject, it is evolving. Third wave therapies come where mindfulness, integrate that, something called as ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, that you accept the challenges that you have, you become more resilient, you commit yourself to certain goals and principle and value driven, so that पहले तो था कि बाबा बिहेवियर करके कुछ चीज़ एग्जिस्ट करती है. देन इट केम टू विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू okay, now feelings is there. Now it is more value driven, that the self as an individual also, how is it going to impact, how are your behaviors also going to affect other people's behavior. So things like that way start to come in. So that is the third wave. Then there is DBT is there. That there is so many, and of course, Eastern and Western philosophies and psychologies combining together, and then coming up in these. Some other forms are narrative therapies there, where the kind of for trauma as well, the kind of stories we tell ourselves, and how that those stories can be changed, and how can they be changed, how can they be replaced with more resilient stories, something called as IFS, internal family systems, that all of us have certain paths to ourselves. Paths therapy is also one of the things where all of us have paths to ourselves. Like, it's not just multiple selves. Like, we are talking. There is a different part of me, a different part of you who are interacting. We are here in this time and space, and we're interacting in one way. When you go home, when you're with your colleagues, when you're with your friends, there are different parts that get activated, and you interact differently. With your partner, you may be different. So that, and how do you deal with it? Then inner parenting, many aspects are there which are still getting integrated. Parenting the self, or inner child healing is there, where the younger parts of you, it's like a bacha ban gaya, waisa wala nahi. The inner parts of you where they got fractured in some ways, if there was some trauma that happened in childhood, so somewhere some consciousness of yours gets stuck in that moment, and then how do you go back and heal that? Some beautiful series have captured those aspects. How do you must have seen in a lot of movies also, वो छोटा जब बच्चा था तब चला जाता है, मेरे साथ ऐसे हुआ था, then you heal that inner child, and then you see. But many people think that is only your child. No, that fractured self can happen at 10, at 12, at 14, 15. For those who have had severe trauma, it can have happened multiple times. For those who have had maybe one-time event, two-time events, someone's dead, someone's some catastrophe, natural disasters, considering the kind of world that we live in. So psychological first aid is something not many people know what it is in terms of war as well. Psychological first aid is like this, the way we have first aid. Pata hona chahiye ki agar if there's a cut, what do you do? If you get a snake bite, what do you do? So things like that. So even with psychological aspects, if there is a trauma, means there's a natural disaster, what are the things? Like, we don't go and touch the person. You talk politely in a calmer way. So these things have not been taught, and this kind of psych education is not being given.
Correct.
But yeah, so that comes under psychological first aid. So much is there.
Yeah. It is actually such a complex topic that we are covering today.
Yes. But it's my job to simplify it as much as I can.
Oh,
so
yes.
yes, I hope I'm able to achieve that.
What I want to ask is, ma'am, what's the most commonly used therapy in India? I guess you just mentioned it.
Yes.
CBT.
Cognitive behavior therapy is there. Psychoanalysis, psychoanalytic approach. So basically, there are famous psychologists whose works are prevalent throughout.
Okay.
So mostly they have even Indian psychologists or Western. So they tend to work. So Freud was psychoanalysis, and there was Carl Rogers, whose was personal centered approach. So it's the psychologists and their work at that given time what really worked. But yes, CBT is quantifiable in some ways. You can see the changes in behavior. That is the reason CBT is being. And something called as NLP also, a lot of you hear about other mental health professionals like life coaches. They go in for something called as NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So in that, they gauge how the language that you use, how that affects, your interaction with others and the dialogues that you have within yourself. So yeah, so these are some common things that are happening in India.
Okay. Let's say CBT.
Okay.
Does CBT help individuals who are dealing with anxiety, grieving, panic attacks, people who feel stuck and lost, people who are actually depressed, and people who carries a lot of childhood traumas and who are adulting now? Number one, can CPT, is CPT the only therapy which helps them, overcome all these emotions? And Second thing, let's then just break down on each one of the topics. So
Yes,
let's
let's
say,
do that
yeah,
because they are huge topics.
correct,
And
correct.
you do understand that these experiences happen to everyone. All of us as human beings are going to experience a death of a loved one. All of us. That is what many times people think that ये सब मेरे साथ हो रहा है. I'm the only one who is suffering. You have to understand every human being is going to experience heartbreak. Every human being is going to experience tides of emotions like panic attack, like किसी चीज़ से डर लगना है. Everyone is going to experience fear in their life at different stages at different times. As unique as our fingerprints, we will experience it in different degrees, in different spectrums as well. So that's very important. And many a times people feel ki baba, if you have lost someone, that means you are in depression or postpartum
Okay.
depression, like delivery, that all women might be going through postpartum depression. That is not true. Clinically, if you have to get diagnosed, it has to be whatever you are experiencing, okay, has to have happened for at least 6 months, but no prior event in the previous 6 months should have triggered it.
Okay.
Like without an event happening, if you start to feel these things, and that also for a span of 6 months, लोग क्या है एक हफ्ता अच्छा था पर then I'm not feeling good or I'm depressed. No, you can't use that in that context, so there are very specific ways. So there is something, not many people even know that there's something called as the DSM-5 or DSM-6. So this is what the American Psychological Association, like a book hai, actually with symptoms and everything. You can ask ChatGPT, you can ask whoever you want. So if you really want to know what are the symptoms, what are the diagnosis, prognosis of such thing, so you can definitely find out what they are. And they mention that it is for 6 months that you are feeling these experiences. And depending upon the human being, now CBT, now some people do specialize in one particular kind of therapy and they will use that with whoever clients come in. Now for me as a psychologist, and I love the field that I'm, even as a kid I was really curious as to how people think and why they are the way they are. And I was like, it is not on, okay, just because it's very, if I know continental, okay, food, you come, I will serve you continental only. Okay, but if I keep serving that, how will you know do you like Chinese and Indian as well if you've never eaten it?
Valid. Yeah.
So it's something like the therapy. I know I'm putting it really, but I have this tendency to give really weird contexts with to explain concepts.
No, it makes sense. It makes
But
sense.
so I am going to give you you're coming to an Italian restaurant, you're going to have Italian only. That's the thing with CBT. You are one thing, you are getting that as well. But you have to know that there are different ways. If CBT is not working, it becomes the responsibility of the psychologist. I've tried this is not working for you. Maybe art therapy might work. For people who are very artistic, they need to explore art therapy. For people who are not the kinds who sit, are not the kinds who, so there is dance therapy as well. There is music therapy as well, alternate expressive, there's writing therapy as well. So for some, many people, all psychologists, nahi, journaling kar lo, aap journal. अरे नहीं होता है यार. Sometimes your mind is so full of things, journaling is not going to help. But something else, maybe music therapy. So you will have to go to the person who has studied that. Or for trauma. So yes, CBT can. भूख तो लगी है, कौन सा भी खाना खाओगे पेट तो भरेगा ही, बट विल यू बी कंटेंट एंड आर यू गोइंग टू बी इनफ? सो इट डिपेंड्स. सो रिजल्ट्स के बाद ही आपको पता चलेगा इफ दिस हैज़ रियली हेल्प्ड यू और नॉट. इफ इट इज़ नॉट, यू मूव ऑन, यू एक्सप्लोर मोर, डू मोर लर्निंग एंड रीडिंग एंड talk to other people. And so yes, CBT has its own methods to cure all the the challenges and obstacles that you have mentioned about. And I would call them transitions. A better way to say that is the transitions as human beings go through different phases in their life. But there are more. For trauma, there are very specific something called as EMDR. Eye movement desensitization therapy is there. So I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. So there are different types of therapies which specialize in trauma as well. So those are there. Now people for years they might be doing CBT. Therapists themselves don't know that EMDR exists. So it becomes the responsibility of the therapist to tell them in a few sessions, EMDR sessions, you will feel much better. So yeah, so that is but yeah. That's how I can
Sweet.
see it.
Wow, beautiful. Ma'am, can we break down a little on anxiety? All right.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
in my understanding,
Mm-hmm.
what anxiety is, probably an individual carries a lot of fear of the unknown.
Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah. Fear. Any kind of fear is,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Uh, can you break down on anxiety, and probably can you also give some sort of an exercise for the audience
Mm-hmm.
that I have now recognized that
Okay.
at times I do feel anxious, I do
Okay.
have anxiety,
Okay.
and through this exercise I
Mm.
might can help myself
All
for
right.
to feel
All
better.
right. Of course. Of course. Okay. Let's break up anxiety. Even children feel many a times they will, especially millennials, or we might say like, बोलते हैं in a common thing, यार बच्चों को भी तो anxiety हो रही है आजकल. आजकल नहीं है, पहले से भी काफ़ी है. And yes, the circumstances there are children who have seen worse things than you. Who have seen wars, who have seen, many other things. And what people don't realize is just the way bodily our strength differs, okay? So does mental strength as well.
Okay.
Sometimes some people have very good and strong constitution despite taking very less care of their body. Maybe it be genetics, maybe for other reasons. Same way, mental strength and resilience is very different for everyone. So the same thing, if there's a class of 20 or 30 children, college may, even in school, if they are going to have each one is going to react differently. If now someone is going to have stage fright, some child wants to be on the stage, please give me the limelight, I will show you what I have. Another child wants to hide behind the curtain and not come, and if you're going to push them into the situations where they don't are uncomfortable, it's only going to worsen. Sometimes you have to know there's something called as optimal fear. Anxiety basically is fear of things, fear of the past, fear of the present, fear of the future. All right. And fear of things, fear of human beings, fear of living things, fear of non-living things. In short, I'm telling you. And then it is categorized into all types of phobias and things and stuff. But basically, this is what fear of past, present, future, living, non-living things, and circumstances.
Okay.
So now there can be so many types.
Correct.
Fear is a very good response to have at times. If you are not scared, now if someone is coming to attack you, and if you're not scared, how are you going to defend yourself? Okay, so basically that is very important for you to fear something, because then only you can safeguard yourself. Optimal, that is like, if there is, circumstantial would be tomorrow exam hai, I'm not prepared and I'm really scared. Now it should really drive you to sit and study and prepare. ठीक है, good amount. Someone who is who understands their fear, who uses that fear to really work upon themselves and really study and learn and prepare. Fear is going to work for them, right? And they're going to overcome it, and they're going to, and then it becomes a thrill more. So they will chase. क्या के आगे जीत है, so that is but that is what it is, so डर के आगे जीत है. अभी क्या होता है जब माउंटेन आता है, and if you're going to fall, there are people who are going to fall, and it's not letting you. Mountain hai, you cannot move, forget you cannot drink it, you don't even touch the glass. So that is a worry ki baba, the anxiety, then you call that fear is so much that it is. So there are trauma responses, that is the fight, flight, freeze and fawn response. Fight, if that fear is making you abhi to main jhak dikhata hu, like anxiety, if you are feeling threatened by something, you want to go and punch the daylights out of someone, you get angry, you get upset, like main abhi de, so you get into a fight. Someone says something to you which really hurts your ego, and you unnecessarily, there's no need, even if you just turn your head and walk away, would have been a better option rather than, but you will want to fight with that person. So that is also to what extent you have to stand up for yourself, but being assertive and say that what you did is not something that is good, or this, and for now I'm not going to put up with this nonsense what you're doing. That's a more better way to go about it. But if you're lashing out at people and things like that, is different. So that's the fight. Flight is running away. Most of the people, yaar kash mein kahin dur chala jata, I wish I could go somewhere. That is the flight one.
Like
Getting away.
escape
Yes.
okay.
Escaping this. Imagine tiger aa raha hai. Either you feel the strength कि बाबा अभी तो मैं उसको मारूंगा with whatever weapons I have. Second is यार भाग जाओ. Third one is a fight, flight, freeze. एकदम means children or even adults कुछ situation blank out हो जाते हैं, याद ही नहीं, freeze. You become like like I can't do, I can't move, in a freeze response. You go blank in some sense, or you can't move, or ऐसे ही बैठे हो या जैसे, so that. And fawn, if the threat is there, you must have seen many a times when people है, boss है कोई, you wonder कि यार जब मेरे से बात करते हैं ये लोग, they are bitching about that person, they are saying really nasty things, they really don't like, but जब वो दूसरा इंसान सामने आता है, उसके बहुत ही स्वीटली उससे बात करते हैं. That is a fawn response, because a fawn is you try to appease that person.
People pleaser kind of.
Yeah, kind of. People pleaser comes in a different thing, but people pleaser would be, people pleaser is different, that they want other people to like them. Here, no, you don't like that person. Okay, you don't like that person, but you are still being nice to that person because you're scared if you anger them, they will hurt you in different ways. Okay, so that is like fawn. A fawn is a baby deer. Like baby, baby, like you become non-threatening to that person, but appeasing to that person just to protect yourself in that sense. So these are some of the ways that anxiety can come up, and you mentioned about, and these are your responses. Now these responses, you cannot choose. You require a lot of self-awareness to be able to make that choice, because they happen with split second. So you may not even bhag jana hai, ki mostly in relationships also, if there's a confrontation, girlfriend ne bola hai, we need to talk, banda gayab. That is, that is flight. That is like, stonewalling. मेरे को confront ही नहीं करना है, ठीक है? So that is one of the things that can happen, है ना? लड़कियों का is like fight का, mostly, online fight ज़्यादा होती है, someone has said something, ऐसे, boys have a tendency to joke around. So, ये ऐसे ही है, ये नहीं है. क्या बोला? मुझे ऐसे बोला? They'll get you into that fight because they are like fearful of how they in their something inside them has gotten threatened in that sense. And other is like you mentioned panic attack. किसी को बोला नहीं है, not confrontational, but अंदर ही you wake up sometimes in the morning with a heart is beating a lot,
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you just mentioned panic attack, right?
Yes.
What's the root cause of a person starting to experience panic attack?
Okay, so usually there's a trigger.
Okay.
There will be a trigger. Okay, first of all, people don't even know what a panic attack is. Panic attack is when your heart starts to race a bit. You may start to sweat. Your hands might get cold, or they can get sweaty. So each human being, the way a panic attack happens is different. Basically, you start to feel uneasy. Your breathing becomes shallow. That is why your heart starts to race, because oxygen is not reaching your brain. Some people start to feel dizzy as well. So that is what a panic attack is. Something has made you scared. Some trigger has happened or is going to happen. So it can be an exam. It could be cold feet before a particular, शादी से पहले, if that's not. So it's your body's signal basically कि बाबा जो हो रहा है कुछ गड़बड़ हो रही है. And that fear is there, okay? Sometimes people don't even realize why it is happening because that self-awareness has not been developed. Now, say if I am to get a panic attack, I know exactly when I am going to get one. In the sense, I know my triggers very well. I know when other possible situations that I can have. And I have a young son. I know obviously if he is going to be in any sort of danger, I am going to get panic attack. Means to that level, if I'm sure. Now, of course, being a psychologist, it is much more means, I know how to deal with them. So that is one. Does that answer?
It does. Yeah, it does.
So you need to know when and how. Many times people don't even realize who they are as individuals. So what is this thing? Many times, even with clients, I tell them, do you realize that this is what is happening? They're not able to put it together because, we are so conditioned by society, by the people who are around us, we don't even realize who we are. And then it becomes really challenging for people to show a mirror that, this is wow, you can discover who you are. Basically, in panic attack breathing, people underestimate breathing. Take deep breaths, because what happens is it will get worse if you're not breathing, okay? In the sense that because oxygen is getting, because it's panic attack क्या है कि बाबा कुछ गड़बड़ है, भागो यहाँ से, और कुछ करना है, you are under attack. But it's a false sense of attack. Because there's no act. There can be really a sense of attack also, that so then it is a normal, you can't call it a panic attack. It's like you're under danger, and that is exactly what your body needs to be doing to you, है ना? So भूख कम लगेगी, you will not feel like eating food and things like that, because all the blood is going to your extremities in order for you to start running or starting to escape or any of those responses, okay? So breathe. For you to realize that, Baba, it's going to be all right. Get oxygen to your brain first, okay? Then is something called as bilateral stimulation. Okay, so one simple technique is a butterfly effect. You do this, so your right hand bilateral, right? So cross.
Should I do it?
Yeah, come.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We
So
can
this.
do also as well.
You want
All
to
of
try?
us, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's called a bilateral this thing. So cross connection. So this can be on the thigh, opposite thigh as well, or it can be on your chest, and it's called a butterfly tap or a hug also.
Am I doing it right?
Yes. 1, 2. As you breathe, okay, that is one. All right, rubbing yourself this way also, some kind of again bilateral again. It is a warm thing, na, ki baba someone is there. It's like a hug kind of a thing that you are giving. Body also, there is something called a somatic therapy as well. So I'm telling you, there's so many types of therapy. So body based, they say that trauma is stored in the body. So unless sometimes a good hug helps, because another human being is there to protect you. There is something called as EFT, where it is also called in short tapping. So there are certain this, like Chinese I would say medicine has these meridians around our body, like so there are certain particular points that they have identified, and then you do gentle tapping, so that also really helps with migraines and others. So you can search on that as well, called EFT. Or tapping techniques. Another thing is, so these all come under something called as grounding techniques, okay?
And this helps for?
This is for a panic attack.
Panic attack, okay.
Or anxiety.
Okay.
For panic attacks also. Then there are different breathing techniques. There's something called as a box breathing. Hold for, 4 seconds, breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds. Again, there are difference in naming those, how many seconds you're breathing in and out also is very important. Then there is, with respect to something called as the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. So 5 things that you can see, okay, to ground yourself. Like, you're really nervous, you're feeling a little out of body or things like that. 5 things that you can see, name them. 4 things that you can hear. 3 things that you can smell. 2 things that you can touch. 1 thing you can taste. So stuff like that.
Okay.
So that brings you back to your body, basically. And EFT is there. Then, there are like these, so many types of techniques are there in order for you to feel calmer in that. And yes, water also, if you are feeling this part, your wrist, under your wrist, this part. So if you put this under running water also, can really help you soothe down, nature sounds are there. So you need to take care. Like if someone you love goes through this, like, you don't know what to gift a person, give them some really good music with, where they have these soothing sounds. Make a playlist for them. Like, when you listen to those sounds, that they will feel better. Remind them. See, itne sare techniques nahi. You have to know there are like maybe 20, 30 techniques. You need to shortlist 3 to 4 techniques which are going to make you feel better. And then kind of do those and have a good set of, but my approach is also very logistical. जब तक आप उस situation को change नहीं करोगे, ये होता रहेगा. Example, petrol pump पे अगर कोई काम कर रहा है and they have developed a cough, ठीक है? And it has gotten worse. कितना भी दवाई खा लो आप, कितना भी कुछ कर लिए, मास्क पहनिए, वो जा नहीं रहा है. Ultimately, you will have to change your job profile. You see, if you want to survive. नहीं मेरा तो काम है, ये है, वो है. If you are in such a situation, but yeah, that's the priority you need to give. So it's like a toxic environment. If you're going to be in a toxic environment, literal toxic or psychologically toxic, sometimes no amount of therapy, no amount of medicines is going to make you feel better. You will have to take logistical actions in order to either change something in your life. May it be a relationship, may it be a place, may it be familial ties, something that needs to really change. So unless you don't do that, and therapy le rahi hu, main ye kar rahi hu, I'm doing this, I'm doing all the work, but no results are happening, how can, then that doesn't, so yeah. So I believe, I tell my clients, people, I do a 15-minute discovery call whenever people approach me, and I say to check if I'm the right therapist for them. And I tell them, if you're looking for someone to just vent out, someone that if you think a therapist where you just want to talk, and just by talking you're feeling better because you're not ready to make any changes in your situation, I am not the therapist for you. Because come to me only when you are wanting to really change, because then logistically what is required, I'm going to be there with you throughout to help you change that. Because unless you don't change a situation, you can't expect your symptoms to change. You are keeping a potted plant away from sunlight and you're wondering ki baba kya hai. You will have to pick it up. You understand, you are not the plant, or someone else has to pick you up. I don't know how they do it, but that is why when you fall in love, someone else is doing things for me, someone else is taking care of me, someone else is loving me, telling me how good I am. That is where then the self-love comes in. If you are able to take care of your own self, only then can you take care of someone else as well. So do that. Otherwise, jab tak wo potted plant ka you cannot put it in the sun, means like take care of that plant, how will it bloom?
So true.
So yeah.
I faced this situation when I was not in India.
Okay.
And I called one of my closed one.
Okay.
And this has just happened to me once and I was freezed.
Okay.
So this person, something triggered her and she got massive panic attack. She was sweating and she wasn't even able to talk to me.
No, like you had a panic attack.
No. She had a panic attack.
Okay.
I was on a call with her
Yeah.
and something triggered. She started sweating and she started crying and she was like, I'm experiencing this for this for the very first time.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna die.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Very much a panic.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's how it looks.
First time when I really had a panic attack, I felt the same. Like I felt so restless from inside.
Yes.
And for me, I was like, this is the end of the world.
It does.
I'm gonna die.
Does. Yeah. It does, because it's that. No, it's a danger. You are fighting for your survival, basically. And you really think that's because the mind is. See, if I tell you, don't think of a pink elephant, you're going to think of a pink elephant.
Yeah.
So it is, the mind makes things real even if it is not real. So even if psychologically, or why do you think trolls affect you so deeply, or people deeply? Because you see, even when they are talking or saying something to you, it is psychologically, it's an attack. So yes.
Yeah. So while this all was happening, ma'am, I really wanted to help her.
Yeah.
I was feeling really helpless that, why is this happening to her?
Yeah.
She's really close to me. I do not want her to be going through this.
Yes.
What can I do?
Yes.
So let's say, this might as well can happen to someone that, for me, it happened on call, unfortunately.
Yes.
Let's say I'm with someone in person, or I'm on a call with someone and they experience panic attack for the very first time, or they have a pattern where they experience panic attack quite a lot. What can I do to help them get out of it? Okay.
Same thing as respect to, imagine you're going on the road with either someone in the car or something and they get hurt, basically. What are you going to do? First, you're going to go, are you okay? If you're not okay, you come to know they are not okay. Are you close to them? Are you equipped to handle it? You are not, please call someone. First is when, if you don't feel equipped, please say, keep the call. And please call someone who is there. Or if that person is close to you, will know and have the number of other person who may be there, who really care for them. Mostly their first reaction, nahi, batana mat, don't tell. They will come to know or something. First is to not do that. please inform someone. It can be not a family member, it can be a friend as well. Maybe if you feel, ask them, do you think I can help? Ask them, what do you need me to do that is going to make you feel? Do you want me to cut the call? Do you want me to be on the call? Do you want to sit down, have water? What do you want to do? Take a deep breath, release. All right, go to ChatGPT, search. Us time pe it was not available. These are the symptoms or something. But basically that is what I'm saying. This basic psych education is not what we have. But calming down that, take. Now, if it's the first time for the both of here it is a situation where you're feeling completely, or then don't cut the phone, keep the phone to the side, go and ask someone or take someone else on the conference of the call. Can you do that? But first is take your breathing. As I said, the oxygen has to go to the brain. All right. Another option is, once they are able to calm down, okay, sit. It's like when someone is having dizziness as well, or you can ask them, do you have a glass of water? Can you drink water right now? Or why don't you sit down? Do you want to lie down on the bed and talk? Do you want to open up the ventilate the room? Let the breathe, or switch on the fan. Change your environment a bit. Can you walk a bit? Then those techniques, the butterfly technique, the 5 4 3 2 1 technique. Okay, can you tell me what's the other things? But they have to be off the call. Or then let me call a professional. So there are helplines which are available. You can call up a helpline in that sense and see what it is. You can call up a professional who you may know or message them. But if it's at night, late at night, who are you going to call in that sense? And it is like, I am there with you. Stop the conversation that you are having. Distract them to a pleasant conversation. Make them listen to some music. Like, how about we put on some music or something like that on the laptop. Maybe you're on the call, they can put it on the laptop for that night. And then build it that you need to take an appointment with a therapist or something like that way. Because many times people are like, if I am the person that they love, I should be well equipped to take care of them, It's not necessary, It is not. You need not take that burden. Delegating at the right time is also something very important. Now, me also being a mental health professional, and if I see a loved one thing, I cannot. It is unethical of me to treat my family members or my friends. It is unethical because I'm too biased. As I said in the beginning, what is therapy?
Yeah.
It is. I'm in with them, so it cannot happen. So please delegate. आप कम नहीं हो जाएंगे, in fact you are stopping that person from actually receiving help. It's like सर्दी खांसी हो गई है, ठीक है ना, मैं करता हूँ ना, I'll take good care of you. अरे प्यार की बातें, मीठी मीठी बातें ठीक है, that is a different thing. But on ground, no, I'm telling the truth. हाँ, प्यार भरी बातें ठीक है, अपनी जगह पे हैं. सर्दी खांसी जब निमोनिया में चली जाएगी, प्यार और मीठी वाली बातें नहीं है, एक्चुअल मेडिसिन की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. सेम थिंग मेंटल हेल्थ. तब तक थोड़ा सा है, नॉट फीलिंग गुड, ओके, यू कैन मैनेज, यू कैन टेक केयर, यू कैन गिव अ हग. बट आजकल लॉट ऑफ LDR is also happening, long distance relationships are happening. Please acknowledge you have limited role. Just the way you cannot really make that warm water for them to drink, or you cannot really take them to the hospital and make an appointment. What you need to do is make an appointment for them. वो बोलेंगे नहीं करना है, नहीं करना है, नहीं करूँगा. Then you will have to set a boundary. कि I'm really worried for you. In this state, do we really need to be like, is this something? And again, therapy is something that unless the person is, what do you say? Many people are unwilling to come for therapy. They don't want to come. पता है something is wrong. नहीं, मेरे को किसी से मेरे को बात नहीं करनी. Then the alternatives are there. So I'll give you one such alternative with ChatGPT. You can personalize it as well. ChatGPT can be personalized. There are a lot of mental health apps. If नहीं है तो आप खुद को educate करो. But many times people just go through websites and reels देख के, नहीं मुझे enough पता है, मुझे सब कुछ पता है. अरे यार, देन आप ले लीजिए बैचलर्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी, कर लीजिए मास्टर्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी, गिव अ एग्जाम एंड सी इफ यू नो. अरे द बेस्ट ऑफ थेरेपिस्ट ऑल्सो डोंट नो व्हाट दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. They even may have met people who may have PhDs and this thing, but basic humanness. So one thing that's taught to us, a good therapist, is to have unconditional positive regard for the person who comes in front of you, in the sense that the true human connection जो होता है ना, maybe you don't have the degrees, maybe, but do you genuinely care for another human being? If you genuinely care, na, you will know what is to be done with them. And if letting them go or letting them heal by themselves is something that you need to be doing, then you need to be doing that. So either inform. So my question is either see that healing, can it be delegated to someone else, and you can encourage that person that someone like ऐसे ही हुआ है, नहीं है, अभी नहीं होगा, वो एक time. People are embarrassed to even acknowledge their weaknesses, their vulnerabilities. वो ऐसे ही नहीं है, मैंने कुछ खाया होगा इसलिए हो गया. Some people panic, in panic attacks they vomit as well. So नहीं ऐसे ही है, कुछ डरावना देख लिया होगा मैंने टीवी पे, ऐसे कुछ हुआ होगा, ऐसे ही bad dreams come in, like so many things are there, but people don't want to because they feel ki nahi, because there are deeper things which they don't want to face and resolve. So they keep, but it will catch up to you. At one point it is going to catch up to you. So you better address it. All you can do is give them the strength that no matter what you're hiding, no matter what you have done, no matter who has done what to you, I will be there for you. Simple as that, no matter whatever you share and things. And if you don't want to share, many a times in relationship we don't like it when someone is hiding certain things. You feel कि मुझे बता नहीं रहे हो, you are not telling me things, you're not girl or boy, I'm not making any gender differences here, बता नहीं रहे हो. Allow an individual to have a sense of privacy. If they trust you enough, they will tell you.
True.
So that is there. And if you are not okay with this, then maybe you're not in the right relationship also. So it's in that, you have to see what is working for you. So yeah, that's my thing.
Beautiful. Let's talk a little about people who are dealing with depression.
All right.
And this is for the real, like actual people out there who are dealing with depression, because one negative thing I've seen lately, one negative experience I've had lately is that many individuals have, they give, like they use the word depression as if it's kind of a badge of honor. Like they really haven't experienced the real state of mind that a person.
Actually, the ones who are really depressed, ना आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा वो हैं.
They are exactly.
Actually, जो depressed है, they are carrying the weight of the world and they won't even let you show. Depression usually is because of worthlessness. Okay, worthlessness. Okay, helplessness, and something called as thinking that this is never going to end. So this is what needs to be challenged, that your sense of self needs to improve, that yes, you are worthy. So if you know someone, that yes, you are worthy. In that sense, they have such a poor view of their own selves, know.
Yeah.
And because, hey yaar, लोगों ने उनको वैसे feel करवाया है.
And all these three aspects, do they generate out of the situations they've been through?
Yes.
Okay.
And the people who they have been surrounded with.
Okay, perfect.
A child is not depressed. Yes, a child is born with certain genetic makeup which may make it more predisposed to these things. In the sense like, जैसे a very common debate which is there in psychology is nature versus nurture, where the genetic makeup is the nature part. Like, what are you born with? And there is predisposition. Like, if you're talking about diabetes, agar my mother or grandmother had, I have more tendency. So trauma is carried through genes as well. And there's a lot of research that has happened in terms of victims of war and, the different atrocities that have been committed against human beings. And then there is the nurture, that can environmental factors affect. If it is like, imagine a child may have gone through some sort of an abuse, physical, emotional, psychological, sexual, financial, whatever that abuse might be. And that experience happened, okay? Genetically, are they predisposed? Like poverty also, as they say, is, if that is what is going to keep happening. But how about if that child gets an opportunity where they find loving parents, or they have opportunities to prove themselves, where healthy and more healthier environment is provided to them, chances of their survival and they turning out fine would be much better, depending also the resilience of that child. Like, they break? Did they overcome it? Did they have support system around them? So all these factors also depend on how, if depression is going to affect you or not affect you in this sense. So, but yeah, as I said, those three major things are there in depressive aspects. Even taking care of regular, people say they don't want to get out of bed, they don't want to have a bath and stuff. And I said, "Ki, Arey, let them not, na. What is the big deal to have a bath every day? Especially when you're not well, even new mothers have this, time nahi milta hai. There's a baby you have to feed every 2 hours. नहीं मिलता है यार टाइम टू हैव अ बाथ. इट्स द सेम थिंग. खाना खाने के लिए भी लोगों को नहीं. इफ अ बिजनेसमैन इज रनिंग अ स्टार्टअप, ओके, एन एंटरप्रेन्योर इज रनिंग अ स्टार्टअप, खाना टाइम पे नहीं हो रहा है, यू विल से अरे वाह ही स्किपिंग मील्स, इतना हार्ड वर्किंग है, ये है. बट देन वाई यू डूइंग द सेम थिंग इफ दे जस्ट वांट टू टेक सम रेस्ट and be in bed for a while? You see if it is happening for a long period of time, because that is also one way that the body is shutting down.
Yeah.
You see, I'm really exhausted because I have done everything I could to come out of the situation, but the situation is not changing. People are stuck in bad marriages, people are stuck in poor financial situations, what do you do? That helplessness, as I said, the helplessness, the worthlessness, and the fact that this is never going to change, these things. So unless something else is not happening, it is not, that is, they are going to remain in bed because they've tried everything possible. The only thing that they can do is sleep now and just hope that time passes. So you have to understand, and they're not doing it willingly. Or there are other factors, like, if they're going to office, there are bosses who are going to bully them. There are predators out there that, something is going to. So they know that either someone is holding them back or situation is holding them back, and they've done all that they could to change it, and finally now they're giving up, kind of a thing. So that is where the depressive tendencies also happen. Again, nature versus nurture as well. So both. If they get a supportive environment, if their situation is going to change, you will see their depressive symptoms also can start to change. And of course, CBT, as we had discussed, the kind of thoughts that they're having. If you can change, no, I deserve better, doesn't matter. Maybe I will change my job, I will do some change. So for depression, change and stop wearing those masks which you have been wearing for so long because they are exhausting you. Try and be more authentic to yourself, talk to people and things. वही होता है ना, मैं लोगों से बातें भी क्या करूँगी? They are not going to help and solve my situation. So what is the point in talking? Yeah. So that is how it is. And again, I do not specialize in depression per se. So that is what every psychologist specializes in different aspects. For me, what I enjoy is this concept. I wouldn't say enjoy. I mean, I'm more called for. Enjoy is when you see your client who you're helping, or people come and tell you that, it's really nice working with you, or, they want to, and they're doing well. And a client coming in, and they were so worried about their relationship, and 6 months down the line, they're getting married. It feels so nice, so that kind of joy that is there. And yeah, so there are a lot of wonderful experiences as well in that. So if something can be changed for them, if something is going to happen for them in that sense, and if you can make it happen, then why not? But yeah, then they can get prone to it. But then you have to say, again, helplessness. ऐसे मेरे साथ हमेशा, there's a concept called as learned helplessness. So this comes up from the experiment where, there is an animal which is caged and beaten up and stuff, in the cage. They know they have to be in the cage. And कभी एक बार आप देखेंगे, अगर दरवाज़ा, even if you keep it open, they will still not step out of that cage. Or animals which have been tied all the time. Elephants, they do that with elephants. They just go round and round and round. Because the chain is long enough to make it, have a circular motion. नहीं, even chain भी निकालेंगे, वो फिर उधर ही घूमते रहेंगे. That's with human beings as well. If a woman has been beaten, पता है, छोड़ भी दिया ना उसको, बाद में, she will get, this happened. This is a very common thing with respect to, people who work in brothels and stuff, or street children as well, They say, like, people, I've worked with juvenile delinquents also, that, you save them, you try to save them, but they land up back on the streets willingly. Or, the women who are rescued from certain human trafficking, and they have been at it for a very many years, they'll end up going back to the brothels because that learned helplessness is there. That is the most familiar thing that they know.
Is it also because of the mental conditioning they have been prone to be doing this?
Yes, that also, because You can't. Many trauma victims also think that जब कुछ something good happens in their life ना, they feel क्या this is not going to last.
Yeah.
They don't know how to adjust to the goodness also. It's like, too much of bright light. You have been in the dark for so long. There is some light suddenly and is blinding your eyes. You can't. You prefer the dark, right? You prefer to be in the dark then. No, I'm more comfortable there. Light means again readjusting to something new and being able to be happy. So if you have a partner or someone who you're dealing with depression and other things, it's really difficult because you will feel that I'm doing so much for them, I'm going out of my way. Why is this person not, why are they not happy? Why is it not enough for them? But you have to understand that is the reason. And that is why I say delegate the work. Don't take the burden upon yourself that you are the one who have to take them out.
Yeah.
It is not. It can be any loved one. It can be your own child. It can be a parent. It can be a partner. It can be a brother. Anyone it can be. It's not your duty. You are not professionally qualified. So go and see. And it's not necessary that one particular professional will be able to help. There will be multiple support systems you may have to, use to help them out of that situation. So that is what I would have to, my understanding of depression is.
You must have had cases where or patients where they are seeking help for to heal the childhood traumas they've been through. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I have one question. Let's say I'm adulting. All right.
Okay.
I've got my own sets of traumas.
Okay.
I'll give you a situation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A person is grown up in a joint family.
Mm-hmm.
Not so good environment,
Okay.
toxic environment.
Okay.
Their parents weren't available.
Mm-hmm.
They were not so bad, but
Okay.
they were not available. They were just
Okay.
not there.
Yes.
A person experienced quite a lot of aggression, quite a lot of anger thrown on them.
Mm-hmm.
Mental conditioning उसका अभी ऐसा हो गया है that he or she is very aggressive by nature.
Okay.
And now people have just named that person that you are a short-tempered guy or you are a
Yes.
short-tempered girl.
Tagging.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the source of their core behavior is the experiences they have been through.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
Now let's say that person really wants to change
Mhm.
so that he or she cannot really bleed on their children,
Yes.
on
Yes.
their loved ones.
Yes.
And they do not want their childhood traumas to be a reason
Yes.
for to be hurtful to someone else.
Yes.
It can be emotional damage, it can
Yes.
be
Yes.
physical
Yes.
damage as well.
Yes, of course.
What is the first step they can take?
First is to have this awareness is a
Okay.
task.
Okay.
Like not everyone even has this awareness that maybe my past has made me into who and what I am. So first to realize and have an understanding, and it's a fact that whatever experience you've had has made you who you are right now, including, the positive and the negative aspects. Once you have the self-awareness, now what are you going to do about it? I believe that people who are abused abuse others as well. So either you become a perpetrator or you become a victim, right? And in order to change that definition, very few people are like that. I don't want to perpetuate the trauma that I faced. So that is a good start. I really don't want to what others did to me. I don't want to put it onto other people. That is a very big step in healing. And that's how I also see my clients. There are individuals who say that, but they will continue to do that. Second is awareness between wanting to and actually doing it. You may say that you want to do it, but are you taking the steps required to do it? Okay. Now the steps is, again, if you want to join in therapy, well and good. If therapy is not affordable, you don't trust, or you feel that's, learn psych education, read about it. Now this is very specific. You mentioned about anger. Anger is a second-hand emotion. They say anger is used when your boundaries are violated. Okay, it comes in because it is an aggression, right? Anger comes in the form of aggression. So underneath, either there is helplessness, there is again worthlessness, there is sadness, okay, there is grief, there is something underlying. So it's a shield. Anger is nothing but shielding.
Can I add something to this?
Yes, yes.
In my experience, I think anger also comes from a source of your emotion where you feel that, you know, the other person has hurt me a lot
Yeah.
and they are not able to realize this,
Yes.
and you know, hence I'm lashing out on them.
Yes.
So
It's
is
a
that
boundary.
right?
Yeah, that's what. It's boundary because
Okay.
someone has violated your boundaries. I've done so much for them. I went out of the way for them and they are. Now, there are two types of anger. One is egoistical anger, where comes aham जो बोलते हैं, अहंकार जो बोलते हैं, मेरे को कैसे कर दिया? False sense of self से, मेरे को कैसे ना बोल दिया? How can they say no to me? Who is you, first of all? So those people who do not know who is me and who do not have humility, dealing, at least I as a therapist don't know how to deal with that sort of anger. I'm very specific of what I can heal and what I cannot heal. That anger, humility, which cultivates, life teaches you a lesson and they learn through it. So they learn it either by when they face a bigger lion or a bigger fish. That is how people learn. Then कि उनका अहंकार कम आएगा. Second one is justified anger, where most of the revolutions you see from a societal context also, it started with anger. How can even our British, the revolution that we had against the British and thinking, galat ho raha hai hamare saath. There is something wrong that's happening. We have to go there, do something about it, and things like that. Now, this is on a larger scale, but individually also, something wrong is happening with me. So I want to bring in a revolution. I want to, and how do I do it? So anger can come in very passive, aggressive, direct aggression, withholding, not talking. So different ways how your anger is manifesting as well. Now, there was much more that you said that, if someone else has taken it out on me, who are those people? Identify those people. Many a times the child is stuck. The little person that was there who faced. Now, many times, many people say that once you grow up, you will go and face them, give it back to them, Not necessary. There is only if you feel well equipped to face them and challenge them. Otherwise, you may land up re-traumatizing yourself. So if you feel that now you have achieved, that's why people achieve things, na? कि अभी मैं दिखाता हूँ. I will show. So building on yourself, your self-worth, your sense of self is a good way to get back to that situation and things. But many times, even when you achieve, you realize, yaar, kiske liye kiya? Means wrong motivation that was. Again, coming that I don't want to do it over my child, So you have that. I'll give you an example. Like imagine there was a woman who had a bad relationship with her father, okay, and maybe an absent father as well, okay, and now she has a child and she is like, I never had a father, okay, I'm going to ensure that my child has a father no matter what. I don't want that child to go through all that. So what are they going to do? She may land up, very likelihood, because the first imprints that you have of caregiving, just the way, like now if I'm going to ask you what is A, like A for, you will do A for apple. It is conditioned. Twinkle twinkle star ka rhythm bolo, twinkle twinkle little star, wahi aayega, hai na? So there is certain conditioning that is in the beginning. The first thing, caregivers can either be parents or grandparents or a relative, depending upon who you were growing up with and who provided food, shelter, clothing to you and care. Okay, so that is a caregiver definition. Now, depending upon that caregiver, what they have given you, okay. Now, as I said, coming back to the mother, she's saying, this kind of a man I didn't have. And now she's got married to this. So very likelihood she will have the same kind of a relationship that she had with her caregiver. Because that was the definition of love. Or that was the definition of how you can survive. Now, if absenteeism or being a good girl or whatever was her thing of doing it, very likelihood she will marry someone who is similar to that, like an absent, emotionally unavailable person.
Maybe
And
also,
yes.
maybe also that's the definition of reality for them. क्योंकि हमने बचपन से यही देखा है, for us, parenting
Yes.
should be like this, and
Yes.
that's the reality for me. That's how I'm gonna reflect. Maybe.
Yes, learning, conditioning. We will call it conditioning.
Okay.
Reality, I wouldn't use that, but my experience. This is what I'm familiar with. Familiarity. Familiarity would be. So reality is there, but the familiarity of it, that this seems comfortable. This is okay. This is something I know how to handle. I've known this. So that is why the chemistry with this person also will be better. That is what you call chemistry. because there's a familiarity to it. Now, she will make the relationship work at no matter what cost it is. Because, and people realize this much later. They don't even realize when they're stepping into it. So I really would. So if you have a partner, if you're thinking of a relationship, even if it's a friendship, think about it. You know, what is it similar to something that you had in the past? It will be, mostly it will be, you know, he would be away or something like that way, absent kind of a thing. But she will try and make it work. "Nee, my child should not miss out on a father." And the child is like, "Arey, but I prefer to be by myself rather than to be a father with like this way," you know. So that also, that you wanting to do really good for your child and protect them from what you suffered may not be the right way of parenting.
Yeah.
Parenting without wisdom or without consciousness and free will, do not take away the free will of what the other person, especially your child. There's a beautiful poem by Khalil Gibran, you know, it's called On Children. If you can search on it, you can search on it. And they say, like, you know, the child is like the arrow that you shoot. You don't know where it's going, but you have given, but you cannot own a child.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't take away their free will. They will come at a point, they will come and tell you, "No, this is why you're staying here." You know, they will come and tell you what they need. "Nahi, but I know for the way you have to have a man in your life, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you know, I'm trying to do what is best for you." Allow the child. They have, you know, human beings are very conscious creatures. They know what is good and healthy for them, what they need. It's just that you need to listen as a parent to them.
Yeah.
What is, they will teach you how to be a parent to the soul that has come. The soul that has come through you will tell you and teach you what kind of parent you need to be, not who you think you have to be as a parent.
Wow.
So being open to that is extremely very important. So that is, and work on your healing and give opportunities to that child to heal for themselves. They will know what they need to heal. So if they're saying going out, doing sports, this is what is going to make me feel happy and good, allow them to do what a sense of freedom and a sense of free will is what you can give your child. And at the end, how much are you going to protect them? But don't be too scared of making mistakes, even as a parent. So this is what I would say in healing traumas, that you don't want to perpetuate the same thing. So awareness is also very important.
Beautiful. So before the podcast, we were actually doing this research of the amount of men and women who are, you know, open to take therapy. Can I have your phone, Tejas? Can I have that research page open? And the results were mind blowing. Something I expected that, you know,
Okay,
yes, this is
okay.
the case. This is surely the case.
Okay.
So the research says that women are nearly twice as likely as men to seek mental health support and therapy.
Okay.
All right. And they've broken it down into percentage.
Okay.
So women's percentage is 65%. Like
Okay.
65% of
Okay.
women are open for therapy.
Okay.
And just 30% of men in today's times are open for therapy.
All right.
What I feel is that why are men running away from therapy, or they do not think therapy is natural or common? It's because since childhood, in my case and in all of the guys we have in this room,
Yes.
they have never really taught us how to feel.
Yes.
They've always taught us how to perform.
Yes.
ठीक है, तुम्हें अच्छा परफॉर्मर बनना है,
Yes.
तुम्हें अच्छा बिजनेस करना है, तुम्हें घर पे अच्छे पैसे लाने हैं, तुम्हें घर वालों का ध्यान रखना है. Once your dad retires, you have to take care. You are the man of the house.
Yes.
Behind all this process,
Yeah.
they've never taught us how to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
In today's times, a man who cries or a guy who cries is a weak guy or a weak man.
Yes.
Vulnerability has never been there for us, you know. So, you know, we don't really know where to go. Like, we cannot talk to our parents, of course. If we go out and be vulnerable in front of our friends, okay, bhai, I don't feel so good, yaar. You know, it's been quite a lot lately. A lot of situations has happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. I feel lost. I feel low. The reply we'll get is, chal, ek do drink le lete. You know, it'll make you feel better.
Substance.
Yeah. But we never really, no one really pushed us that, you know, might as well go see a professional. Try to explain them what are you feeling. What would your thought be on this?
I am going to give you very different perspectives on things, okay? First of all, the reason why that percentage exists is because if you search on the number of, find out the percentage of female therapists and male therapists.
Okay.
You will see, I don't know, it can be curious, you can find out, but I'm guessing in the field that I am, especially in India, there are more women therapists.
Exactly.
There are very doctors, yes, psychiatrists as doctors are there, but women therapists are very less. I think in the past 2-3 years, you see, so even in the kind of therapy I do, I go into systematic challenges. Okay,
Okay.
I stop blaming the individual and I go in for systematic challenges which are there. It is an art subject. Women were allowed to take home science, arts, क्योंकि क्या करेंगे, घर पे ही तो बैठना है ना? What are you going to do about it? Emotional attunement also is more. Men will not take psychology because पता है ना, emotions की बात करेंगे. They are pushed into physical, civil engineering, doctors and stuff. So psychiatrists, yes, there are, so one is because women are largely in this space. Teachers as well. You see, teaching profession, healing professions is mostly women are there. Teachers also, how many in your school, how many you remember कि male teachers and female teachers का ratio क्या था?
सिर्फ पीटी के साथ
Caring, caring. So that is where the actual thing comes. Now you tell me, how will men become vulnerable in front of women? It goes beyond against evolutionary aspects. Na? A man is supposed to, I'm giving you very different perspectives.
Okay.
A man is not going to be vulnerable in front of a woman in a professional setting.
Okay.
When you are weak in front of your mother or your girlfriend or your wife is a very different thing.
Yeah.
But he will find a lot of difficulty being even weak in front of his sister. Because Raksha Bandhan hai, tomorrow is Raksha Bandhan, Raksha karni hai uski, to kaise main weak ho jaunga? So that judgmental aspect is there because those many male therapists are not there. Even if they search female aate, how will the man say ki I will choose? Mentality bhi ek hai na, I am the man. And a woman is going to think I am weak. Men have been told to prove, be the man. So that is also one of the reasons why men don't usually go. It's not, we cannot again put this on the man only. Men are weak. You see what this narrative, how you are feeding it to your own self also. Because we are weak, you are not challenging the system here. I don't think so men are weak. I think there are reasons, there are systematic reasons. Another thing is, the reason why it is not just if a man cries. If I'm doing business, if I'm doing any work, stock market कर रही हूँ मैं, जो भी whatever if I'm doing. If I'm going to be emotional, I am going to sell my stock or I'm going to buy it at random. Stability, you see, has to be there. If it goes up and down, you will not be a good business person. It is a fact.
Yeah.
There is no... there is a war, now if you talk about Arjuna, you talk about the Mahabharata and stuff, even if it is out of, now this to the merchant class I'm talking about, or businessmen I'm talking about, if it is going to be with respect to, as I said, warriors, soldiers and stuff, you have a gun in your hand, you cannot be, that's what the whole Gita and the Mahabharata is about, that but he didn't want to kill his people. And then Krishna tries to give him that thing that, Baba, it is not. It is about dharma. It is about that. So you have to be, that is what has been ingrained. And let it be a woman or a man. Even if women soldiers come, you see, the more empathetic you are, or if you get emotional, your decision making becomes weak.
Yeah.
It is a fact. If you do not accept that fact, you are not. So even when women come, women are in really tough situations. Maybe they're going through a divorce and stuff. They're having fights with their husbands. And saying, मैं बता रही हूँ उसको, I'm explaining to him, I'm crying in front of him, उसको कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा, he's made of stone. I said, Baba, because you are doing so much of drama. And so I tell my female clients also, you want to have a conversation with him, he's not listening. Have you sat with him without complaining about him? Can you just tell him what is it that you would require? And this is not a male and female thing. Huh? I'm telling you, even there are women who are very stable, but the man is more emotional. Mm-hmm. Even for the men, if you just tell, instead of being aggressive and stuff, tell what is it that you want? What is your expectation? Have a decent communication skills are poor. It is not about you being a man or woman. Communication. Women talk a lot.
Men don't.
Communication, okay? Communication skills have to be very good. Women have excellent communication skill as compared to men. Unless men are not gone to colleges and stuff and learned those. Why can't men talk? Because they're holding secrets of the world. You cannot delve your business secrets. How will you perform? That is why the lesser you talk, lesser information you're giving out, and that gives you the edge to perform better.
Yeah.
So that is how you were taught to be a man.
Correct.
ये हम बताते नहीं हैं. We don't discuss these things. Therapist के पास जाते हैं. Men go, yeah. Men, I have male clients, but you have to accept. You know what their actual challenges are. It's not because they are weak. It's not because they're not being taught. They have been taught the right things. It is true. If you start delving and telling me all details of what is, even if it's social media marketing, what works, what not, you think you are going to perform better? No. The withhold itna data privacy we are talking in today's day and age, what Zuckerberg is doing, what Musk is doing. अरे state secrets दे दोगे, क्या ही रह जाएगा आपके of your country and stuff. Having secrets gives you the edge of over others. This is the reality of life. तो क्यों बोलेंगे यार? नहीं. And women also who have held positions of power know this very well. They will not. You see any leaders, forget man or women. सो दीज जब तक ये नहीं होंगे, वो कैसे थेरेपिस्ट के पास कैसे जाएंगे? आजकल इतने अनएथिकल थेरेपिस्ट हैं, जाके बोल देंगे उनका, क्या करेंगे? पीपल हु आर इन पोजिशन ऑफ पावर, पीपल हु एनीथिंग, एंड सोशल मीडिया में इतना ईजी टू फाइंड समवन एंड स्टॉक समवन एंड ब्लैकमेल समवन. कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी क्लॉज कौन देख रहा है? Especially in India, civic sense is very challenging. Tier 2 cities, Tier 3 cities. When someone comes anonymously or something, I tell my clients, it's written in my consent form and all of that, ki baba, don't disclose your name if you don't want to. At least give me the basic main details if you want. But if you don't want to disclose your name and stuff, don't lie, because then the therapy won't work.
Yeah.
You be someone else. Anonymity. Some therapists are unethical. नहीं, मुझे सब कुछ बताओ, सब कुछ बता. What is stopping someone from blackmailing you? Real life, na, men are thinking. Women don't think. Because what they know is all emotional stuff and things. There is nothing. Men, if they go and tell कि बाबा business partner ने ऐसे किया, ये किया, वो किया, this happened, what is left of him?
Yeah, the other person knows everything.
Yeah. Why will they tell? And they are making money at the end of the day. They are sustaining the families through the financial secrets that they keep in the end. So that is the reason why men are not coming forward to them. They're not speaking up. तो वो वीकनेस वाला तो वो सब कुछ पता है, बट ये सारे एंगल्स कौन बात कर रहा है?
What's your opinion on this? That do you think guys and men should be open to therapy?
They should be, of course. See, that is, so keeping all of this in mind, you tell your therapist, these are some things that I cannot talk about. Please respect that. These are the things I would like to talk about, and give hypothetical situations.
Okay.
My friend did this. That's what mostly people do. They don't talk about themselves.
Yeah.
They sometimes give examples of, my friend did this, this is what happened, that is what happened. Please do that. Do that to protect. Go in anonymous. I think it will be really good if they can have anonymity without actually who you are. Don't disclose. I think I speak to so many startup founders and things, people are having a challenge coming up with mental health things in India. And I believe that if you give this anonymity aspect to it, more men will come.
Yeah.
In therapy. And of course, the therapist has to be societally aware, really need to know what is happening in the world. I have had therapists where, they follow certain, so why I say the right therapist is very important. Now, if you are a mother and if you are talking to a therapist who is not even been in a relationship, or, not a long-term relationship, how is she ever going to understand my challenges of what it is of being a wife or a mother or stuff like that way? People say empathetic. Arey, you can be extremely empathetic, very loving, very kind. But that doesn't, experience doesn't, you have to have experience. Until and unless when I'm talking that I had a C-section, what were the challenges, what happened, where was that injection given? So many things are there. Unless you don't become that. One thing even in the armed forces is, no matter how good your merit is, you become a general only after a particular amount of years. Experience counts in certain things. So that is what I would share.
One really rookie question.
Mm-hmm.
How can one find the right therapist for them?
Yeah. So, as I said, experience matters. So,
Okay.
if you are someone, now, like even for the LGBTQ community, if you are someone who has, please find who is friendly to LGBTQ. Don't land up being going. Many people claim to be friendly, but the judgment starts off.
Yep.
Or they want clients, or this is the cool thing to do now. So, everyone, ensure that they are trauma informed. Try and see if their religious beliefs are similar to yours as well. Like now, imagine there have been case studies where a woman is trying to get a divorce, all right, and the therapist believes in the partner being together. Okay, so I won't say, like,
Okay.
someone who is a devout follower of Krishna or love or ISKCON and stuff, and they're more into like be together, brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood, and things. And why do you want to hurt another person? And the other client is not at that stage to make things work. They have done everything. Time ki baba, I need to get away. I really need to break this relationship. That is not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
So please don't go in for like that. Then they need a therapist. They would need a lawyer. They would need other people who really strong therapist who would support them through the transition. So there's a very awesome book by Dr. Ramani called Should I Stay or Should I Go? So in that she has given both examples of, if you decide to stay, it was mostly about narcissistic relationships. If you decide to stay, there's no judgment. If you decide to stay, you stay. Sometimes the new age feminist therapists are, why you staying? Why you staying in the relationship? It is so bad. It is so toxic. Why are you tolerating this, all this shit? Arey Baba, but if she cannot leave for whatever reasons, she has a child, she has financial conditions which she's dependent on, societal pressures, there are certain things that are making her stay in that relationship. Why are you judging? If
Yeah.
someone doesn't, please allow them the free will to do what they want with their lives. You do not manipulate it. So, very beautifully, she's saying, if you decide to stay, then these are the things that you have to get used to, and you will have to bring about change within yourself. If you decide to leave, then these are the things, please be prepared for it. So you really need to know the kind what you want. I'm not saying, many times people are really confused what exactly, because they are looking for a therapist to help them make a decision. It is a therapist's responsibility to not make that decision for them, to give them the pathways. If you make this decision, these are the challenges, these are the pros and cons. If you make the other decision, these are the pros and cons. What values do you hold? If not leaving a marriage is a value that you hold, or whatever it is, then see, does your partner hold the same values? To give them insights, to give them an understanding of things. So yeah, so that is what I would say. Ki check their value systems, check their religions, go through their LinkedIn profiles, go through their Insta profiles. Try and have, ki, can I have a free 10 to 15 minute session with you to see and ask them questions. Read about like what do you expect in the first therapy session and things like that, and get to know them as human beings as well. What do they like? What they know? If there are meat eaters, no, small things. Get to know this, because you're going to you want to share the most vulnerable aspects.
Yeah.
And many a times people get re-traumatized with a therapist. Sometimes they get so bad.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have clients have told me where the therapist has really done, like, they've gone and shared certain experiences with them, and they put it up on their stories. And they sometimes don't even hide the name of the client, or they say, or they make fun of it. Oh, this is what happened. Oh, how this, the judgment that comes out. I've known very famous therapists who have some very amazing Insta videos. Okay, very, you feel like, अरे यार काश ये मेरी therapist होती वाला vibe. Okay, and they talk so kindly, so empathetically. And I've had the opportunities to do courses with them or one-to-one interaction. They are so brutal and they're so mean. I mean, it's a completely different person. So you really have to be, and don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Maybe this, like, doctors also. Sometimes किसी की treatment काम करती है, किसी की नहीं. Don't lose hope. Don't stop trying. Try, but of course from a safe space. These are some things that you need to keep in mind, and do that. And sometimes also with this first therapist, the therapist may be good, but they really knock at your shadows.
Yeah.
So that you have to be really strong enough. Ki, do you want to? But try it a little bit. If you really feel no, it has to be comfortable. It has to be. They will knock, but they will need to be empathetic, and that connection is what heals. It's not the techniques that they're using. It's a connection and trust and the safe space you create with your therapist, that what heals. Not the kind of techniques and know-how that they know. So that is very important. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. One last topic I want to cover for this
Yes,
podcast.
yes.
We've had a word about this to our previous guest. His
Okay.
name is Alok Tong.
Okay.
He happens to be an amazing mindfulness coach.
Wow. Okay.
Right. The podcast was very
All right.
filled with purpose.
All right.
Very fruitful podcast. We got a lot of reviews, like good
Okay.
reviews from people.
Okay. Okay.
We talked to him about the relationship challenges that our generation and the generation below me
Yeah.
are facing. It's very hard to find a good partner in today's times.
Yeah.
The sole reason for that is like what I feel is, I can be 100% wrong. It's because we all have been through so many traumas. We all have been through so many heartbreaks. For to experience the divine of a relationship, people are afraid that what if पीछे पहले जो हुआ था वैसा हो जाएगा. What if things just doesn't work out? Or else in few people's cases they have just become so emotionally unavailable. They are very cold hearted now कि मुझे तो चाहिए ही नहीं, I'm happy single. Deep down they do want to find a person with whom they can share their ups and downs and really grow together.
Yes.
Firstly, how can we get rid of this mindset that I don't think so I'll ever be able to have a very fruitful and a healthy relationship. Secondly, I think provided the times that we are dealing with, I think it's very important now for me to keep things very clear to my partner at very initial stages of my relationship. I wouldn't anymore do all that buttering start में कि मैं तो हमेशा तेरा ख्याल रखूँगा, I'll always be there for you and this and that.
A reality check.
Yes. Like everything, this is what I'm planning for. This, by 3-4 years down the line, I'll be financially over here. I'll want you to understand throughout.
Yes.
I do want to become a father. All right. I do want you to work. Or I think, if you be home, that would be something ideal for me. But this kind of conversation should go down.
Yes.
Financial planning and expectations and everything.
Absolutely.
So can you please break down on this? Like, firstly, how can I break the mindset that I might as well can have the chance to experience the divine of relationship? And how can people adapt this approach where they are real to the other person and not layer coating things?
Divinity and reality. You're trying a very tough question because you're trying to make me combine that.
You can keep it different.
Yeah,
we can do that.
It is the difference between free will and destiny. In the 20s, one doesn't realize how much impact you have yourself on a particular relationship and how much outside factors can affect it. That is one of the things, to have that reality check as well. Because when you go into a relationship, as you said, at 1 year I'm going to do this, after 2 years I'm going to do this, at 3 years I'm going to do this, 4 years this, father I want to be. The issue is not in the planning. The issue is that you have discussed it. Life has a way of going completely tangent. So if you say in 2 years I'm going to be financially independent, and what happens is there's a whole financial depression taking place in the whole world, like Trump coming up and destroying entire trade systems, job unemployment coming up, then what are you going to do? Okay? Example, like I'm telling all of these couples this thing. फिर worst case conditions क्या होने वाली? Second is I'm going to move here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do my studies for 2 years, then I will be back and stuff. What is guaranteeing that you will complete come back?
Yeah.
Okay, what if you are going to stay then? What if you find someone else, especially in long distance?
Basically, uncertainties might as well can happen.
Okay. Third is, I'm going to be a father at this age. This is what I want children. I don't want children. Maybe you want children now. What if you don't want children after 4 years? If you are not employed and you think this is not what you have achieved, what you're doing is you are, and that other person, I'm not saying that because you're the man and stuff. The same thing with the woman also. She's told you she's going for education. No, I want to work. I really want to work after marriage. You better not stop me. He was like, okay. She has a child. She can't work. And she is too exhausted. She's changed her mind. I cannot. I don't have the bandwidth to work. What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
She is saying, no, I want Yeah, love is enough for me. Kind. I want a love and kind and caring partner. Money is not that important to me. But when she has the child and things happen, money becomes very important because it ensures certain amount of luxury and comfort in her life. Or when she sees that, oh, I have to share my husband with friends and relatives and things like that, which I had not foreseen it before. Children, maybe you are not able to conceive. That I'm not, but I'm just putting out scenarios which are very realistic,
Yeah.
and it can be because of your partner or because of your own health. You don't know what is going to happen. Okay, now these fears, those who are emotionally avoidant already know. So what they will do, they will only look for instant gratification.
So true.
You live only once, so I will live only for one night. And I will not think of the future. Okay, so these are two extremes. The
Wow,
one
okay.
extreme is completely the planners, and I'm really disciplined and stuff. They don't know when life hits, what happens. Those, I don't want to think of the future at all. I want to just live in the thing, get instant gratification and stuff. Okay, so one is divinity, like I want a true love. I'm willing to work for it and stuff, and one is reality. There's nothing in the future now. You need to be in the middle somewhere in order for relationships to work. You yourself cannot work because you don't know who the other half is. You're saying you can know only yourself, what you bring to the table. It really depends upon what the other half is bringing. Now, for that, the reason why people are changing so many times is because people themselves are changing. A year back, maybe you were not thinking of doing a podcast. You were doing something else. That time you were a different person. What has happened is because of so much of stimulus, of so much, the rate at which human beings are learning and changing has changed a lot. What you were a year, 2 years back is not the same that you were. In previous relationships, if you talk about parents or even grandparents and stuff like that way, the stimulus was very less. They remained how they are for the rest of their lives. Because they did education for women, I'm saying. They were not educated only. What they knew, that was enough. They were not given hobbies. They were not given anything. How will you change or grow as an individual when you have no access to education or books? You will remain who you are for good about 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Unless some change has happened to it. Those women who are given opportunity. Same thing with men. पता है यही प्रोफेशन है जो दादा ने किया था वो मैं कर रहा हूँ कंटिन्यू ड्रिल है सुबह आना है इतने बजे उठना है जाना है देयर इज नो चेंज now with so much of stimulus people have changed. Yeah, people are growing. I am not the same person I was maybe 6 months back. And the same thing is happening. There are two chemicals coming in who are constantly changing and they're coming together. They're changing themselves. The reason why the same person who was good for you maybe 10 years back is not the same fit anymore, or even a year back. In that situation, and then that is where the breakup happened. Then how do you do it? Being mutually respectful. The best that you can do is bring your authentic self. And no matter how much you change, there is a core personality to you. There is a trajectory to you. There is a predictability. That is who you are. Your value systems.
Can you break that down a little? Like the core personality part?
Core personality is basically how you were as a child and what traumas influenced you or what good things influenced you. Like if you have been a person who has never told lies and stuff, that is who you are. A core personality.
Okay.
You're someone who is always cracking jokes. That's who you are. Now a person who is very serious and stuff will take some time, but yes, if they love you and stuff, they will understand and they will love that humorous side. But some people are like, yaar, ye kya hai? They're not taking life seriously. So that kind of a thing. There are certain personality, and there is personality tests as well to get to know, and yes, change together. When you allow the other person, and many a times people talk about virtues and honesty, integrity and things. आजकल इसको इतनी अहमियत नहीं दी जाती है, at the end कि क्या ही है, as if you want to go to heaven, है ना? That is reserved only for means other things. So here you have to understand the reason why it is important to be honest is not because you are going to go heaven or you're going to do good. It is because it is the most practical thing to do. Virtues, as they are put in moral sense, I do not believe them, I do not follow them with a sense of morality. They are there. They're highly functional. You see, And we live in a very functional and productive world. Honesty actually brings a lot of productivity. You see, if I decide to tell a lie about something, you see the number of lies I have to do and the amount of brain I have to use to keep remembering those lies and to keep changing them.
Yeah.
It's very exhaustive. It is extremely exhaustive. That is why if you are honest, it is easier. Deals are easier. Things become easier for you. Productivity is better because you don't have to carry that mental load. The psychological load of lying. Some people do it very easily. Short term hai. Oh, okay, they do earn a lot and stuff and things. It works for them and stuff like that. But in the end, even there's honor among thieves kind of a thing. You take any value, even if it is integrity, even if it is with respect to punctuality and things, they have certain functionality to it. People were not dumb. All they were thought, keep God. There are many atheists. We don't believe in God, and no one is asking you to believe. Believe in the functionality of certain things. Have you tried living your way? No, I have been a good person. I've been a very good person, but bad things have happened. Bad things happen to everyone. Even the bad people, bad things happen. They do. Bad things are happening to everyone. And what are bad things is because there is a system in place. It's like storm aa jata hai. Storms are happening everywhere.
Yeah.
You can be in the middle of the storm. The reason why you being good is not working is goodness needs to come with boundaries.
Correct.
Goodness has to come with boundaries, and it has to come with wisdom. I'm nice to everyone. If you're nice to a tiger also, Papa, you're going to get eaten. Simple as that. Snake ko pet karne jaoge, you have to have certain things. You have to know the other person how they are. So if good, you're talking about being good and things. Good ka definition bataiye aap. Are you oversharing? I have to tell everyone everything. Transparency. I was like that. Okay, by the way, to admit it, I used to talk a lot and I used to share a lot. I still do. I mean, I am a very transparent person. But now I'm learning. Nahi kar sakte hain. Not in a sense. Now I know that it is because it was demanded out of me as a kid. But I don't have to do that anymore. So see which of your behaviors are coming because of insecurity, because of certain things or what you went through, and which and who do you want to become. So mostly it is finding true love is that person bringing out the best in you. Are you becoming a better version of yourself?
While being honest at the same time.
Honesty is just one virtue. It's okay. Be dishonest. If the other person is also dishonest, okay. Open relationships are there.
But don't you think that's really messing around with people?
Each one's life choices. You don't want na, you don't go in for it.
Okay.
Hai na? We are there, who it works for, who it doesn't work for and stuff. And many people think ki baba inko hai. There are many times there are couples where, the wife has terminal illness. And they really love each other. The man and the wife really love each other. And the wife she wants him to be happy after she goes. She may even encourage it. Why don't you? He will not want to. There are many, many dynamics to love and things and stuff and things like that. But of course, hurting other people's and sensibilities and emotions, it comes. Even all these mental weakness, as I said about mental hygiene, is when you are able to follow certain principles in your life and you can live by them. It gives you immense amount of moral strength. No amount of therapy is going to replace that. Moral strength comes with character, with a sense of, now you may say, oh, Anya, you are preaching. I'm not preaching, but I'm telling you, integrity, it develops a strong moral character. Okay? That no one can, and people will always respect that. People know Sachin Tendulkar agar hai, no one could, he was talented, and the way they live their lives, people do notice how people live their lives. And that is one of the reasons. So that moral strength that comes reflects in your work as well. Maybe you don't want to be rich, maybe whatever it is. So finding a partner in true love. True love is when you are most true to yourself. True authenticity means, again, everyone's definition of love is different. Yeah. True love, I feel, is when you can be the most true to yourself and to your partner. That is what true love is.
Okay.
And divinity comes when you are the best version of yourself. Bolte hai na, even in Hinduism or all the religions say. Divinity is when you come closer to God. When do you come closer to God? When you reach your highest potential. That is true love. Your true love will bring you to the highest potential.
Yeah.
So if that person, you have found that kind of a person, then it is destiny as well.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
So my next question to you
Yes.
is a question which is absolutely on another tangent of this
Okay.
conversation.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm pretty sure if this viewer has been watching this podcast since this, like till this timeline,
Okay.
they are really wanting me to ask this question to
All
you.
right. All right.
Uh,
All right.
There are so many people out there who are really dealing with very heavy heartbreak.
Yeah.
And many of them don't really know how to grieve and how to really heal out of it. And they feel very restless, they feel a lot of pain in their heart.
Yes.
They feel very heavy. What would your message be, and how can they deal with it? Simple words.
You have to understand that whatever the grieving, if you have not been able to move on in the right way, I'm not saying that move on just for the sake of it and things like most of the coping mechanisms, if they are healthy, well and good. If it's making you achieve better things, do better, be better, take it, you are handling it. But in the ways where you've not been handling it, so you really have to understand the psychological aspects of it. There are, and mostly that pain that you're feeling, that is not the first pain that you're feeling currently. It is not about the breakup. You have to understand. You have experienced a cut in a relationship much before. Means when you were very young as well. Either your relationship, and you were trying to repair, and you were trying to do this with this person, and a similar thing has happened. If you really close your eyes and you go back into this feeling what you're experiencing right now, you will understand this is not the first time that you have felt it. You have felt it when you were much younger with your first caregiver. Okay, with that, what happened, and multiple events have lined up to come here. So when you break up, you are never grieving the loss of the person per se. You are grieving also all the previous heartbreaks that you had, maybe with respect to friends or lovers or achievements, and they all come together in that one point as well. ये हमेशा मेरे साथ होता है. This always happens to me.
Yeah.
This has happened. So it's not just the present that you're grieving the past as well, that and all the negative experiences that you have had of never having got what you really wanted to have. Basically, you're grieving what कि जो मुझे चाहिए था मुझे वो नहीं मिला है. What I had expectations out of this. So all that, what you have experienced before, maybe as small as I really wanted this car when I was a kid, but someone didn't buy this for me. I really wanted something, and they were very basic small things, but they've piled up into a huge mountain. Okay, now it's crumbling down. You are also grieving the future. I had planned all this with her. I was to become this person with her. I was supposed to have children. I was supposed to have her as my wife. We were going to do this. We were going to go here. We were going to go there. We were going to wear this. We were going to... You are grieving also the future.
So right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then coming back to the present, from the past and the future, to be in the present is really difficult. And the emotional exhaustion. The relationship might be really bad, but you still don't want to admit it. And to want to do this again with someone else is extremely tiring. That nahi. So be very careful the kind of stories you are telling yourself in this. That I can never really be this. I will never be able to put in. Because whatever you are saying is going to turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you start telling yourself, I'm never going to find this kind of a love, you will not find it. The laws of attraction work the other way also. Whatever you believe is going to come true. So be very careful in this juncture what you're going to say. If you're going to say, I'm going to always have losses, you will always have losses because your mental makeup will become like that. You will choose your next partner also in such a way that she will leave, or she will betray, or she will cheat. Same thing with a woman. If you feel this man has been abusive to you, very high likely that the next, I always fall for the bad boys. You are going to keep choosing that unless you are not self-aware about what your habits have been, and in order to choose that. So if you have not learned, there are learning lessons. Example, I always tell, it's about reading a book, a person. Maybe you thought it was a romance novel and it turned out to be a sci-fi thriller. It does happen. It turns out to be not your genre. It is not the book's fault. You read a few chapters and you did not like it. There is no harm. The book also shouldn't feel bad. because they will really find someone who will really love the book and that genre. Please do not be with someone for the pity of it, for the sake of it, because you are denying one another the awesome love that can happen to the both of you.
Yeah.
Because अरे यार उसका दिल नहीं तोड़ना है, दिस चीट कर रहे हो पर उसका दिल नहीं तोड़ना है, ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. You know, people say no, I don't want to tell her that, no, I want to, अभी ठीक चल रही है पटरी ठीक, but it will go fall, it will not happen, and when it will fall after 2 children, that is going to be worse.
It's going to be more hurtful for the other person.
And the people involved, the families involved, the children involved, and those people, men or women, who know that they are not going to be a good fit to be a partner, please do not commit yourselves. Be very authentic. नहीं होता है ना, serious relationship नहीं करना है, बता दो. Whoever you're approaching, I am good only for casual. It becomes the other person's responsibility if they start putting their expectations onto you. I would also see the other person for who they are. देखो कौन है ना, believe them. If they're saying ना बाबा I am not someone who is, don't try to change and fix the other person. बोल रहे ना, please believe them what they are saying, who they are. नहीं you are not a bad person. नहीं आप अच्छे नहीं यार, they have their flaws. Please see them for who they are and what they are. ठीक है. And how do you break up? ठीक है, आपने गलती की. You thought this person was like this. You thought this relationship is something that you wanted, but you don't want it anymore. Do not delay the process. Please be good to one another and end it in a cordial way. Not necessary. What happens usually, bad breakup happens is when the one person doesn't want to let go and the other one wants to let go.
Yeah.
Please be respectful. Tell them, okay, the person who doesn't want to let go, say, let's just be friends. Very tricky place to be in. Let's be friends. No, I don't want to let go. Oh, but वो बिचारी है, oh वो बिचारा है, वो मेरे बिना जी नहीं पा रहा है, तो मेरे को करने दो. You know, let me be. Love can never be. खैरात नहीं बांट रहे हो आप. Please respect the other person. No, they don't need you. Please be respectful of that other person. They really do. Self-importance की बात मत कीजिए आप. नहीं, they are going to be just fine.
Wow, beautiful. So this entire episode, the topics we've talked about, you have pretty much covered everything in this book.
So that book is Noumenon. It's actually, thank you for showcasing it so nicely.
We'll also use this in our introduction for sure.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so this is a book of poems that I had written. So I started writing poetry since I was 15. And poems would just flow, like, you know, and they started with English. I have few in Marathi, a few in Hindi as well. So, and they just flow. So they have been like 15 years, like so many years, 2.5 decades of writing and things. So, and I decided to compile it. This was during COVID times that I compiled all the poems, and so I got the time, like, you know, I really want to bring them together. I had them written them on pieces of paper and here and, you know, there. So I consolidated them and then I arranged them on the concept of Carl Jung on 12 archetypes and the phases that as a woman that I went through. So of course it covers all my phases when I was high, I was low, I was sad, I was happy, so many things that are there. And towards the end, I have given, I was very worried about how my poems would be interpreted by others, because I've always seen poetry being interpreted by who reads it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to give that kind of a thing to someone else. I want to tell as to why I wrote these poems and in what context. So at the end of the book, I've given that all the poems, what they mean, from where they came, like psychological insights about them. So yeah, so that's it's a reminder for me more, and I always write for myself, not for others. But I mean, I do write for others as well, and you know, keeping them. But it is for me that, you know, for me as a remembrance, as like, you know, this is what I. So even I read my poems sometimes when I'm going through a phase, and then it reminds me, oh, I was like this. And as well also, you know, and many times the insights that I've had maybe when I was 5 years back, even now I have that, and I'm surprised to look at, okay, this is what so this reminds me of who I am as well. So yes, so that's about the poems.
Guys, please do go check it out. Is this
book
book
on
live
Amazon? Yes, it
Perfect.
is.
Please do go
on
check this
Kindle,
book out.
Amazon, all.
On Amazon. Is it focused? It is. All right, now I'm going to put it down and ask my last question to you.
Yes.
We usually do this by the end of our podcast.
Okay.
Please take your time for to share your wisdom.
Yes.
What would your final piece of advice be for everyone who is watching this podcast?
Okay.
And the topics that we've covered, one key element, one anchor to each of
Yes.
the topic
Yes.
can be self-awareness.
Yes.
Can really help a human grow.
Yes.
And yeah, so what would your final piece of advice be, and can you also break down self-awareness a little?
For sure. My piece of advice, I would say that every proverb has an exactly opposite proverb to it as well. You know, like haste makes waste. But if you don't hurry, you know, you'll miss an opportunity. But everything you say, every proverb will have an opposite. So don't follow others. Use your mind when your friends say, इतना क्यों सोच रहे हो, इतना क्यों सोच रहे हो, प्लीज़ सोचो, बहुत सोचो, अच्छे से दिमाग से, हर एंगल से सोचो, and do those things, you know. Only when you're going in the same loops, that is the time when you need to really stop the loop and then think about something else, or you realize. So, but till you are not going in loops, all permutation combinations do think, because we are thinking beings. So do think. And self-awareness. Okay, पहले तो सेल्फ ही कहाँ है. So that is what I specialize. My therapy is in this concept called as individuation. How do you become the self from society? बचपन से कंडीशन किए आते हैं, ढांचा होता है. How do you become a self? Who are you? Finding that voice, your voice, that inner voice. So even in psychology, we have different stages, like, you know, the Trinity. Even in spirituality and even in psychology, there, you know, the three aspects of it, the id, ego, and super ego, or so many, every psychological aspects have those. So who are you? Are you your parents' voices? Are you your friends' voices? तो अंदर से एक होगा कि ये मैं हूँ. How do you know that is when you're authentic? आपको खुशी मिलेगी. There will be a sense of knowing that you will have. So are you a reader or are you not a reader? जब तक read नहीं करोगे and you don't feel that sense of liking, how will you know who you are? Simple things when I start with my process with my clients is that what biscuit do you like? Many people are very fumbled to not even know what kind of biscuit they like. Do you like the cream ones? Do you like Marie? Do you like the Parle-G? Do you like... First, get to know yourself.
Yeah.
Many a times people like things because what others perceive them. That person is rich. He has this car, that car. I like because that's why I like it. Do you really like it or do you not? That is a very different knowing. We'll start with small thing. Do you really like that shirt, or is it because it's from Zara that you like it, or is it because of from the Armani hai isliye you like it? Do you really like what you like? What color do you like? Do you like the color? Maybe you really like yellow, but school में बहुत बार सुना था कि yellow dirty fellow. But so yellow is also the color of gold and the sun. So be very careful of these are small exercises. What kind of songs do you like? Do you like poetry? Do you like old songs? Do you really like them, or someone you loved liked them, so you like them now? You can like it. It's not. You can change. When you meet people, you learn new things. You like certain things. Maybe you really like. What kind of food do you like? Do you like spicy? Have you thought about all of that? Is who that makes you. And this can change as well. What are your beliefs and opinions about castes, about religion, about them? Are they really your, or is it what your parents have taught you? Do you want to challenge these thoughts? Do you feel something wrong that is there, that, you know, this is not me? What are your thoughts on children getting, unless you don't have conversations?
Yeah.
And thoughts and opinions about, which are yours about things, not कि ये बोल रहे हैं या वो बोल रहे हैं. But for you to have opinions of your own, you have to read books, you have to gain knowledge and insight as to what you are speaking.
Yeah.
Do you know the full story? So keep learning, keep updating yourself with things. Learn in depth, not what ChatGPT is just telling. Actually see if the information that you have is authentic or not. So self. So first awareness आएगा जब self होगा. तो self क्या है? In our Indian philosophies, we call it the Panchkosha. You can search about it. You have inner, you know, the Panchkoshas are there. You have the soul self, then you have the higher self, and the bodily, the you know, the spiritual needs, the other needs. So first see what they are, and then you go ahead with the other needs. Awareness is first to self आएगा, Then the awareness comes. Awareness is being present. Mindfulness is very simple. Present ki abhi kya ho raha hai? Do you understand what you are doing? Are you understanding how your own actions are affecting others?
Yeah.
Do you understand that when someone talks to you badly, how does it make you feel? Do you understand how you are talking with others? वो वाला अवेयरनेस. अगर बाकी के बोल रही तुम ऐसे हो या वैसे हो, are you really like that? Do you have the strength to take that criticism and actually assess it for what it is? And then, because of self-awareness also comes in relation to something else.
Yeah.
So that is what I would say. And advice is authenticity. Try and be who you are in this world who is telling you to be what they want you to be. That is what my advice would be. And don't underestimate virtues.
Yeah.
There is a lot of functionality and productivity in these, what is being, written. I'm not talking about the superstitious aspects and the ritualistic aspects, but really get to know how things are. And be authentic. I think that is what is there. And be happy not in the gratification kind of a thing, but you will know sometimes pain is important. We were having that conversation of Stoic philosophy. Pain is, but understand pain is transient. It is going to move. And I often tell my clients that it's not my job to remove the pain. I'm not promising you that I will. You have to understand pain is going to exist. I cannot stop it, but I can definitely show you how to surf on the waves better, and you will get better. So it's like surfing, navigating. I will make you a very good navigator with your own compass. So, but for that, your compass has to be pointing in the true direction, in the true north. So in that sense, if you are good, well, and everyone is going in different directions. You see in which direction you want to go. South jana, south jao aap. There's nothing stopping you. But getting to know yourself, self-awareness, learning about your own habits and things, that is what is going to get you where you want to go. So yeah, that is my last 2 cents.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much, ma'am.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been fun. Yeah.
I'm glad even the team had fun.
Yes.
Very, very few podcasts where we all feel that okay, we did something really better for the society, and today for sure it's one of those podcasts.
I'm so glad. Thank you.
I really manifest to have you again on our show.
Yes, I would love to come.
Probably,
Yes,
we'll cover some really different topics.
Of course, I would love to. I like to talk about everything under the sun. So, yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me.
And it was a beautiful podcast.
Yes, same here.
Thank you.
Yes.